Colleague Alfredo Kanse is joining me here in studio with some of the key questions that the finance minister is expected to answer sometime tomorrow when he shows up in Parliament, and also, from the various sector ministries, the ministries that have been filing these questions. Thank you, Alfred, for joining us. So always. I know you've been looking through, these 16 questions. What are top of those? So
we have a number of them bothering on the arrears to be given to the companies who have supplied fertilizers to government under the Planting for Food and Jobs program, who haven't been paid over the period, to fuel prices and many others. But there's a question that is expected to be asked by Godfrey Saidu Jasau, who is a Wa East Member of Parliament, on the issues relating to the financial clearance to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to clear the large debt owed partners and suppliers to ensure availability of subsidized fertilizer in the farming season. Now, what this particular issue has to do with the arrears owed the companies that have not been paid, who supplied fertilizer to government under the Planting for Food and Jobs program. Okay. Now, this has been attributed to the situation we're having with the increased price of food stuff on the market. It's not just about the issue of the Russia and Ukraine war. Many have also ascribed the fact that now farmers will have to go onto the open market to go and buy fertilizer at 600 cedis for 25 kg because the fertilizer supplying companies are owed by government. The last time we checked, sometime on the 6th of August 2021, that was when Parliament approved some monies, about 260 million cedis to be paid to these companies. Some of them, about 71 companies, are still complaining that they have not been paid as we speak. Now, the next question that is of concern and focus for us is by Sheila Bartels, a Blakema North Member of Parliament. She's expected to ask the Finance Minister on the current status of funding for the construction of Phase 2 of the Tema Motorway, which has been highlighted as a major issue for commuters. Remember sometime last week when the repair was ongoing, we asked the Minister of Roads and Highways how much is costing the taxpayer for those repairs. He said we should shut up. Now, the Finance Minister cannot shut up on this one, because when he goes tomorrow, the motorway, we understand, is expected to be expanded into 10 lanes. He's supposed to tell the Ghanaian people how much it's going to cost us. Also, the issue of fuel prices. Sylvester Tete, Botiano, English, Amanfo Member of Parliament, Edward Bauer, are all asking the Finance Minister exactly what measures are going to be put in place to ensure that the fuel prices that are going up would be addressed. What you're seeing on the screen right now are the taxes and levies on the price buildup. So this is on the NPA's website. All these taxes, right, special petroleum tax and all the primary distribution margin, are all on 1 liter of petrol and diesel that you buy. And the total cost of this taxes is about 4 cedis 64 pesos. Now, a liter of petrol is selling at about 10 cedis 99 pesos. If you subtract the entire taxes out there, we are supposed to be buying fuel for about 7 cedis per liter and about almost 30 cedis per gallon. What we are having now is that because of the taxes on the price buildup, we are buying petrol and diesel at 10 cedis 99 and 13 cedis 50 pesos. There were recommendations for government to look at some of the taxes in the price buildup. That's what you see there. All the total taxes and levies on 1 liter of petrol and diesel, it's 4 cedis 64 pesos. Now, the current price of a liter of fuel is 10 cedis 99 pesos. If you take that out, that's 6 cedis 35 pesos. Now, but it's going to be overly, ambitious to think that government will take off all the taxes. But which taxes should government review is what a number of the analysts are asking the Finance Minister to announce. But Alfred, this is also coming on the back of the May Day speech by the President, where he said that taking out any of these taxes will be detrimental to the economy. Indeed. Generally. So that question we expect that the Finance Minister will ask, because the only intervention we've seen the Finance Minister announce was in February, when he talked about the 15 pesos removal in the price build-up. And the transport operators in that same month announced a 15% increase in transport fares. And we're expecting transport fares to go up by between 10 and 15% in the coming days as well. So that's another question that we're looking at the Finance Minister answering. And the final one has to do with the Minister of Finance expected to ask the works on plans intends to return the government, that's the country, to International Monetary Fund for financial assistance, whether or not government is still considering going to the IMF. We've heard John Kuma talking recently that if the homegrown policies fail, they would consider going to the IMF. But a definitive statement from the Finance Minister is one we'll be expecting if he shows up
All
in
right,
Parliament tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Alfredo Kanse. But joining me via Zoom is Joe Jackson. He's a financial economist, director of business operations at Dalex Finance. Thank you, Joe, for joining us. So these are certainly tough times for the finance minister, and his appearance in the House tomorrow will be really, really crucial. All eyes, the economic community will be watching.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your listeners. These are indeed tough times, not just for the finance minister, but for all of us. These are really turbulent times. And in turbulent times, it is important for us to feel a firm hand at the helm. And one of the things I like about what's happening is that Parliament is demanding that, listen, come and show your face, come and talk to us. It is our problem, not the problem just of the ruling powers that be. It is a Ghanaian problem. And so it is important that we see the minister tomorrow.
Okay.
And I hope he does appear, because we need to know that someone has a plan, someone has a strategy, someone has tactics to address the inflation that is killing all of us, the huge fuel prices, the arrears, and all the numerous questions that have been asked. We need to see him, because we need to be sure that somebody is tackling these issues aggressively.
And we know that, inflation, for example, has been trending upwards over the last 6 months. Clearly shows management of the economy has also taken a hit somewhat. Various sectors are also having a drag on the Ministry for their resources to simply run. Would you expect the finance minister to make any definitive, pronouncement that could, for example, while checking expenditure, also releasing funds to some of the sectors that are hardly hit and in dire need of funds?
Listen, the pain is going to be spread out, and the pain must be spread out. Anybody who believes that the Minister of Finance is going to come to Parliament tomorrow and spread some goodies for their sector is actually going to face some disappointment, because the situation is tough, and we are in the middle of a turbulent and dire situation. Arrears on one hand, the government debt that it took in 2017, it's on the Eurobond market, is due to be repaid, and so on, and we could go on and on and on. What I genuinely expected Minister to talk about is how to address the food price inflation issue. He may not be able to do a lot about the price of fuel, but there's still quite a lot we could do to bring farm gate prices closer to the prices in the market. And that will help ameliorate the issues we are facing. Listen, this is a tough time, and we can only mitigate the pain we are facing. We can't take it away.
And the much talked about question of whether or not the IMF is, the escape at this point in the financial crunch we find ourselves. I know you've had cause to speak on this, but in the times we find ourselves, would it be far-fetched?
Listen, first of all, in the pain we are facing, no option should be off the table. That's number one. Number two, I think the IMF is the most effective option we have to control the excesses and the pressures that are coming on us. We need to keep the loans flowing, because we don't have a choice. They are sovereign loans. And our budget deficit is huge. There's no fiscal space. If you take 2 or 3 items, they consume all our revenue. We need the IMF to support us so that the foreign markets and the flow of funds will be maintained. I actually don't see how we are going to get around this without going to the IMF.
Very well. Thank you very much, Joe Jackson there. He is a financial economist, also Director of Operations of Dalex Finance.